Hi friends! Today we are going to talk about the Stampin' Up! Color wheel, and in particular we are going to talk about monochromatic cards. So you might have guessed we're using Moody Mauve today. So on my blog post today, it is Monochromatic Monday with Moody Mauve. Do you love that? If you're looking for my blog, I blog at pattystamps.com. I have over 6,000 blog posts for you there with Stampin' Up! Inspiration, and I hope that you enjoy everything I have to offer. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am celebrating 29 years this month as a demonstrator. This wonderful color wheel was something that Stampin' Up! Gave to demonstrator attendees at our onstage event in Houston earlier this year. This is 2024, in case maybe you're watching a replay. And there is also a version of this in the most current Stampin' Up! Catalog. So if you are not a demonstrator or maybe you did not attend the Houston event, you can see this color wheel very easily here in the catalog. And what we are going to be talking about today is this section right here, monochromatic. And so basically it would mean using one color or maybe two very close colors, like here they suggest Petal Pink with Calypso Coral, Lemon Lime Twist and Granny Apple, Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape. So if there are two colors that are very, very, very similar and you use them together, then that's also considered monochromatic. So you would want to pick out either one color or two colors that are just very close to each other, next to each other on the wheel, and pair it with a neutral like white, vanilla, or maybe the new, my mind just went blank. Good heavens. That's crazy. Why did my mind go blank? Basic beige. Good grief. Sorry about that. I guess that's a sign of old age. Anyway, basic beige, white or vanilla. Those would be some, or crumb cake. I'm just looking at my colors up there. Crumb cake might be a good neutral to pair a color with. So today what I've decided to do is to show you the beginning of a start of a series, and I probably won't do a video for every single Monday because they don't really all need a video, but this is kind of an introduction. So we are going to be using Moody Mauve with Basic Beige, and I just wanted to show you how simple a card like this can be. You could do this in absolutely any color. I have used the Stippled Rose image. This is a large, really large image. I love this stamp. And here's our Moody Mauve ink. I die cut with the perennial postage dies, my Basic Beige. I also die cut with the deckled rectangle. So we'll just do two really quickly. I'll show you that. If you're not familiar with die cutting, this is what the die looks like, and you place it on top of your cardstock, you run it through your die cutting machine, and it cuts a shape. So just want to show you how quick and easy this can be. Again, you could pick any color. I have been maybe a little neglectful in using Moody Mauve, and so I thought, well, what a great way to just try it out here, start using it, and make a few cards with Moody Mauve. Okay, so look how simple that is. You've practically made your own designer paper, right? Like very simple, very easy, and really pretty. Let's do it real quickly again, just with the deckled piece so that I can show you two different versions of this idea. You really, by the way, you could just leave it at that, maybe make it a horizontal card. That in itself would be gorgeous. You don't really have to fill it up, but I kind of liked this idea of filling up the background with several stamped images of the same thing. So there we go. Very simple. And then on a couple of them, I gave some extra color around the perimeter, and I used a blending brush. This is the mini size. It doesn't matter. You can use the mini size or the regular. But when you add color, here's what I'm going to suggest is that you start by kind of flicking it on the edge so that the actual edge gets some darkness. Can you see the difference there? So we're going to do that around the edge. So while I'm doing this, I'll just tell you that coming up, I am co-hosting a retreat event. We're calling it the Summer Stampin' Soiree. And one of the presentations that I have worked on, it's done now, it's packed over there, is for monochromatic cards. And that's what kind of gave me the idea that maybe we could have monochromatic Mondays, and I could share with you some ideas for creating fairly simple monochromatic cards. So I am just adding a little bit of extra beyond that edge. And you see I'm always dabbing off because look how dark that can be. You don't want to get a dark blob on your card. Let's get rid of that so it's not so distracting. And so there you have a really pretty, kind of almost a vintage looking piece for your card. So there's options here for keeping it pretty simple. I've got Moody Mauve card bases, and I did basic beige card bases so that I have options. And then I did layers. So I have the Moody Mauve layer. I also have the basic beige layer. And so just by kind of mixing and matching, then you can create all sorts of different looks. So let's take the base card in Moody Mauve and then the 4 by 5 1/4 inch basic beige, and let's layer those together. And then I'm going to use my foam adhesive sheet to add this focal point that we just stamped. But I like it raised up, so that's why I'm going to use my foam adhesive sheets. They come in a pack of 6 sheets of this size. And I'm just going to check here, like I can use that whole length right there, but I'm going to cut 3 fairly skinny strips with my Teflon scissors and add those. I always do my 2 edges first and then 1 strip in the middle. And I like, just personally, I like this better than adding a whole bunch of dimensionals because that just gets kind of tedious for me. So that's why I like to do this with the foam adhesive sheets. And I love this. Isn't it pretty how you've got this kind of shadow effect because of the sponge, or not sponging, but blending on the edge, plus the raised up part gives you a little bit of a shadow there. And so that's how I did the base card. And then I used the wildly flowering paper in mauve. You can see I've been punching here. And I simply punched out an image of the heartfelt hexagon, stamped it with Moody Mauve ink. I wrapped the basic beige ribbon around there and then added some of the in color iridescent dots. Those are new this year. And that finishes off that simple card. And then for this one, let's look and see how it looks without sponging. And so I'm going to go kind of opposite on this one and use the basic beige, this is a tongue twister, basic beige base card. That's almost as bad as monochromatic Moody Mauve Monday, but that's all right. I'll get through it. So a deckled Moody Mauve layer, and then let's raise the deckled stamped layer So going back to my piece of foam adhesive sheet, let me see. Let me just trim a little bit off that edge, and then I'll cut my strips. Just don't want it peeking out the edge. While I'm peeling these off, you can just see on the finished card here, I used the new Labeled with Love punch, and again, stamped and used that for my focal point, my label, and added the piece of basic beige ribbon. And so that is how you finish off that card. There are two fabulous versions, vertical and horizontal, one with the blending around the edge, one without, and then opposite layering. And then on this one, I just wanted to show you sort of a little extra thing that I did. I stamped the same Stippled Rose image onto Moody Mauve, which that just gives me an idea. I'm going to make another card. Just a second. Hang with me a minute. But I used my paper snips and I cut out the large rose and the smaller rose along with this bud. And I just layered it up on top here just to give something a little bit different looking. But this just gave me an idea because I have another deckled piece that's pre-cut here with the Moody Mauve cardstock, and I bet this would look absolutely gorgeous filled in with the stamp. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful. I'm almost wondering if I like that better than the card that I originally decided to make. And wouldn't that be beautiful? Just super, super simple, layered onto the beige. Oh my goodness. I guess you could actually... Oh, I think it really pops a lot more layered onto the beige. So yeah, I am going to do that and finish this up and have this be part of my blog post. So make sure when you're done with this video, hop over to pattystamps.com. The link will be in the video description, and you can go straight to this blog post using that link, and you'll see what I decide to do to finish up this version. But I think that's going to be really pretty. So again, just 3 different versions here using Moody Mauve and Basic Beige. And then I have just a couple other samples. Just want to show you this same basic idea, but with blues. And so you can use whatever stamps you might have. You can arrange them in different ways, and you can add your greeting with the same color, your layering with the same color. And that way you have still the monochromatic look, but it's just a little bit different than this little more, a little bit of a vintage almost look on these. This one is Blueberry Bushel. And this is the layering, Layers of Beauty. I always mess that name up. And it's a large stamp image, kind of like this one. And then I used the anniversary greeting in that set and then just layered it onto Blueberry Bushel, onto white, and onto Blueberry Bushel. And I thought that was a really great combination. This one, you might be thinking, that might look like a retired color. Yeah, that was Orchid Oasis. I made this many, many months ago, and this has remained one of my most favorite cards. So I have kept it on my desk, and I just love it. I stamped the image with the Orchid Oasis, but I used a blender pen to just slightly darken some of the color there, just fill in just a little bit, and then layered it onto the embossed background. So what I'm hoping to do here is that each Monday for a little while, maybe the month of June, I will have some different monochromatic ideas for you. I have some samples that are on a board ready to go, and they will be at our summer soiree event on June 8th and 9th. And so then when I get back from that event, I'll have more samples to show you from my display boards. I think they turned out really cool. I hope you like them, and I hope you enjoyed a little peek into monochromatic stamping and card making. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you'll hop over and visit my blog at pattystamps.com.